Williston looking to get a bounce-back victory against Tri-Valley, the clear front-runners through the first couple of weeks of this tournament. Let's dive in here and take a look at the action today here as we go around the region. That's brought to us by our friends at West Dakota Chevy Dealers. A early win, the Mid-Atlantic champions needing a dub to get back into the heart of things in their division. They get that in rather impressive fashion, very nearly a mercy rule victory against the Midwest Plains champions in Fargo. Still, Mifflin County right back at it. Game 2 we're about to see right now. Game 3, the North Dakota champions in West Fargo going up against Arkadelphia, one of the great unknowns here. They had a tough game, but they ran into Tri-Valley, and so you never really got to see what they were capable of in that ball game. So we'll see what they've got to bear here on day 3. And then Williston trying to get into the win column. That's a must-win game for the hometown team, or they fall to 0-3. They will go against Eau Claire, one of the hottest lineups in this tournament. They've scored about 10 runs in their last 3 innings played. That is our look around the region, and it's brought to us by West Dakota Chevy Dealers. Now let's dive into this matchup piece by piece. We do so first, as we so often do, with our keys to the game brought to us by Eventide Senior Living Communities, powering older adults to thrive for nearly 70 years. For the champions out of the Pacific Northwest, it's set it and forget it. You're moving on. Your game yesterday did not go your way. Put that lineup in. Didn't go. Now you're ready for round 2.
I think that's the right attitude, especially when you go against Tri-Valley. You can't have the demons of the past haunting you. You got to be focused on the demons and the monster in front of you. Because Tri-Valley, if you're not ready to go, if you still got some of the bad play lingering from the day before on you, Tri-Valley is going to hop right on top of you, and this game will be over really quickly. So come out there, head on straight, positive attitude, and be ready to rock and roll. Set it and forget it.
For Tri-Valley, round 3, baby. Round 1 was great. Round 2 was great. Round 3, you want to do the exact same thing. Deja vu all over again.
Yeah, it's hard. You know, what a coach, normally would say there's no such thing as a perfect game. There has to be a way to improve, and I'm sure there are little things, but it is hard to nitpick right now. 16-1, 15-1. The pitching has been really good. The defense has been sound, and the offense has been electric. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep it rolling.
Our keys to the game brought to us by Eventide Senior Living. Those are the goals for the two teams, but let's look at some of the architects between those goals. It is our player matchup brought to us by Proceed, Need Seed, Think Proceed. Busby Lowe, one of the few guys to come across the plate against that Tallahassee pitching staff. He got a hit, eventually scored. That was the big thing. Meanwhile, on the other side, Cade Robertson has been a force of nature in this tournament.
Yeah, Robertson has just been unstoppable. He's only got 2 hits, but the 4 RBIs. He has been a big part and kind of the spark plug for this Tri-Valley offense.
One of many spark plugs. It has been nonstop since the 3rd inning of day 1. These guys have been unrelenting, and they're looking to make it a perfect 3-0 start and clinch themselves a position in bracket play. That is our player matchup. It is brought to us by Proceed. The guys will do their creed here, and then it'll be time to play ball. The Pacific Northwest, the Pacific Southwest meet up for the first time in North Dakota right here on Beck Sports. Takes center stage for Tri-Valley as they go to the field first, the home team in this one. Louis making his pitching debut. Tri-Valley, because they've gotten 2 outstanding pitching performances and their games have been over before they even get started. Amongst the teams that have played 2, these are the guys who have the freshest rotation, and it's not all that close.
Yeah, I mean, Tri-Valley has had their way on both ends of things, and if anything, just looking to see what would happen if it's a competitive game. But right now, they've just been rolling.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Louis here. For Tri-Valley, not much has changed. When it's really working like this, you don't have to alter very much. George Schmidt has done a nice job in center field. Cade Robertson has played a mean left, and that left side of the infield, Cooney and Tsunemoto, have both been thoroughly impressive. Those throws across the diamond have been the Achilles heel for so many teams, but right now, Tri-Valley is showing no weaknesses.
Yeah, they've been fundamentally sound. It's so easy to drone on about their offense.
It is.
Don't get me wrong, we'll do that as soon as they come up to bat. But defensively, they've been really sharp too. They've shown that if throughout these pool play games and then potentially later on in the tournament they are not hitting, or at least maybe not in double digits, it's more competitive, they can lean on their defense and pitching to keep them in and help them win ball games.
You got a good look at the defense there. Right now, the offense for Puyallup trying to take advantage of those guys in the field. It starts with Lane Mollum. Behind him, we'll see Busby Lowe, Zach Morris, Kenyon Millett, Malik Razak, Drew Baker, Anthony Gote, Grayson Peterson, Drew Nisco, Cade Bellarive. Mollum watching. First pitch up high. Ball one. Begins our game two here on the third day. Umpires in this ball game. Behind the plate, we've got Tom Sewell, our umpire in charge here in Williston. Rob Drake's over at first. Brent Ingebrigtsen is at second. And Gendrew Manning third. Mr. Sewell signals a strike, and we go to 1-1. Fouling out of play, count even at 2 apiece. Puyallup, guided by their manager, Buddy Lowe. Was happy to see Busby Lowe get in the action yesterday and had to make a few pitching changes. It's part of a tough day, but Puyallup ready to bounce back. The Washington State champions and winners of the Pacific Northwest. Full count right out of the gate for Louie. Chopped up. Souza sees it hop off the chest. Souza was deep. It was going to be a tough play regardless from the grass, and it doesn't matter. Lane's on first.
Didn't see a whole lot of that yesterday, especially from Souza. Most of the balls that got hit into play were in the infield, and Souza was practically all over everything. First one eats him up here, and Puyallup gets a base runner right off the bat.
E4 in the first inning. We saw the exact same thing in game one today. It's a bit of a tough error. Even if he feels that clean, I'm not sure that he's stopping Lane Mollum. Now Lane's taking off. He wants second on a wild pitch. Just like that, one mistake leads to 2 bases, and Puyallup in business right away.
Yeah, we talked a lot about when these teams, especially that are coming off tougher losses like a Puyallup yesterday, 8-1 against Tallahassee, how do you start is such a big part of the carryover, and in this case, preventing the carryover of how they played yesterday. And early on, able to work on a, well, not a base hit, but able to get one in play on a good, long, competitive at-bat, and then take advantage of a wild pitch.
That's the name of the game, right? Put it in play and see if something happens. They were unable to do that against Tallahassee. Nearly 20 strikeouts in the ballgame. Off to a much better start in that regard here, and outstanding patience from Busby Lowe.
This is a really good early visit from Hudson Flora. Louie, just a little bit rattled here in the early going, struggling with command. You give up a full count before that last one, a wild pitch, and now 3-0. I think this is really good. Get to him early, and I think it's, just a very simple, quick, hey, deep breath, you got this. Give it to me in the zone.
Bit of a different lineup for Puyallup today offensively, hoping to shake things up. Low, though, one of the consistent ones. That's a great pitch. We saw Millett come into the game later. He gets the start today. K.A.O. Smith started yesterday. He'll be available as a reserve player along with Gavin Seifert. Check over at second, back in plenty of time. Five-pitch walk.
If you're Tri-Valley, the only good news so far is that this is more or less how you've started the last couple days. They did give up a run each of the first couple the last 2 days and trailed 1-0, but perfect start for Puyallup. They haven't had to do an awful lot of real work yet, just having strong at-bats and being patient. And now they got 2 on, still no outs, and really good opportunity. And one thing you need against Tri-Valley, even if you can contain them offensively, you need some run support.
Zach Morris taking a big hack. 0 for 2 in yesterday's game, but he did walk. Anthony Louis still trying to settle in a little bit here. Third in the rotation as Tri-Valley tries to go 3-0. You see him get set up on the far left side of that rubber, trying to give himself maximum room for that sliding action left to right. Louis 1-2. Missing inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Love this too if you're Puyallup right now. Through the first couple of games, Tri-Valley has had low pitch count. Part of that is because the games have been really short and they've been able to preserve arms. So to get 15 pitches and you're at least due for a couple more here is a really good start.
Louis doing a nice job holding things over at second. Not throwing over to first yet. No reason to here in the trailing situation, and very quickly kind of a meeting of the minds here. I think Tri-Valley not liking 15 pitches and kind of an extended stay in a defensive half inning.
Yeah, it's not the start they were hoping for, a little bit of a jam, and I think the message to Louis, like we've said a few times, just focus on the guy in front of you. Now, it's more difficult to do when there's 2 on and nobody out, but just have to find a way to get that first out, and then the game gets a lot simpler.
So John Flora relaying something along those lines, you have to imagine. Pretty quick message, but no outs. Tri-Valley doesn't want to trail. They have actually in both games, and both of those deficits have been quite quickly erased.
To say the very least. I mean, still can't get past. I mean, 16 runs is impressive on its own, but to do it all in 1 inning, one of the more impressive feats we've seen so far in this World Series.
Got him. The pep talk works. Anthony Louis has his first strikeout and first out of the ball game.
Yeah, that's a big one, especially, when you get to the high school and the college level, when you get that guy on second, a base hit is pretty much an automatic run. That's not always the case here at Babe Ruth, and so that calms you down a little bit and just gives you a little bit of space to breathe here if you're Louis.
Good spot for Big Kenyon Millett. Tough day yesterday, but he's primed and ready to go. Well, not quite yet. He wants a timeout. There's that sliding action from Louis, but it wound up dipping too low. Millett, big hack.
Good bounce back from Louis. A little bit of a tough start to the inning here. He's working his way back nicely.
The theoretical ground ball escape hatch in play, particularly with this Tri-Valley defense. Interesting first inning. Millett watching.
That's a nice job. That's a really tough pitch. It's just on the outside. You don't blame Millett for watching it go by, and now he's behind 1-2.
Louis in the driver's seat. Skipped it in the dirt. Nice block by Hudson Flora. Good breaking action. Just missed the release point a little bit, and so it was a couple feet short. Millet straight in the air into foul territory. Just in front of a charging Flora.
Really good hustle by Flora. Also good heads up. He was coming up right on the wall there. Would have been a difficult play to make.
Just about impossible, so he does the right thing. Goes full effort, but also shows that situational awareness. Two. Bender, perfect. Millet down looking, back-to-back strikeouts for Anthony Louie.
First he went to the outside and got Millet looking, and then check out the movement on this. Starting at the outside, coming back towards the middle, and just above the knees for the K.
So it's up to Razak. An inning that started with such promise. Louie's working that pitch right there. That's been the get out. Anthony Louie looking to escape. Good waste pitch. Razak didn't swing. The 27th pitch of the frame for Louie. Half swing, appeal down. Did he go? Yes! Zach's not happy about it, but Rob Drake says he went, and a little look at Louie. Anthony Louie escapes. We're scoreless to the bottom half. On the hill for Puyallup. Zach Morris had that honor yesterday. He still remains in the battery as he goes behind the plate. Nisco taking over duties in left field here for the Pacific Northwest champions in Puyallup. They will go up against the top offense in this tournament. Not a great number of changes for Tri-Valley. You wouldn't expect there to be. The one difference in their lineup going against Busby Low today, Hudson Flora and Dylan Souza switch. So what is 2 is 1. What was 1 is now 2. Everything else is the same.
Hard to argue that they should switch up much of anything. A little tweak at the top of the lineup. Both those guys have been really good already throughout this tournament, and Tri-Valley's just been fantastic the last couple of days. This is the offense that I think people are coming to see right now, even if you're not involved in this ball game. And be interesting to see how Puyallup will bounce back after that 8-1 loss to Tallahassee yesterday.
Here's Dylan Souza, a hit every other at-bat through 2 games for Souza. Scoring thrice, bringing in 3. He's going after the second pitch. Razak on it. His throw floating in by a step.
Great start because Souza has got great speed, and he runs this out hard. If Razak bobbles or hesitates on this for a moment, it's just not going to get there. He is quick, strides right into it, puts it on a dime, and it's a good reach on first from Gote.
Yeah, that's the critical part of that play was Gote saving a step and a half. Skipped in from Busby Low to the catcher Flora. Morris saw that one skip out of the glove. That's a good time to have that happen. Say, all right, doesn't matter, no one on base.
Yeah, get those out of the way now, right?
Mm-hmm. 2-0 again, calling on Razak. This one's a little bit high. Ball popped out of Gotay's glove. Flora taking 2. Almost an incredible recovery from Gotay, but the high throw from Razak is a 2-base error.
Yeah, Razak had the throw on the money last time. This time around, a little high, and Flora does all he could on this effort here. Everything's there. This isn't out, and then, unfortunately, it just pops out. It's tough with Flora coming right at you. That's a really tough one to hold on to, and good job by Flora to recognize ball went out there pretty far. Instead of running back to first, I can take second.
Grant Henninger sends it foul. His 5 runs batted in right at the forefront of these tournament standings.
Yeah, it's hard to pick one guy who stood out for Tri-Valley, but at the plate, he would be towards the top of the list.
It's him, Matteo Minetti. Henninger dovetailing into left center. Nisko watches it along with Malam. Flora, wide turn. Flora's coming home. Tri-Valley takes the lead again.
They don't miss a beat. That little bobble on the ground and fight with it by Malam is what allows Flora to come home. I think he's planning to stop here at third. And then right here, that extra little roll allows Flora to come on home, doesn't break stride, slides in with style.
You saw how that ball just got caught in the North Dakota jet stream. Nisko was going one way, then another. Malam has to come in charging late, and it still winds up short of him. The elements favoring Tri-Valley. And a well-placed ball by Henninger gives him RBI number 6 in this World Series. And George Schmidt still in a scoring opportunity. Must be trying to limit the damage. Below gets his strike.
Got to have a short memory against this Tri-Valley team. I think, look, never say never, but the idea that you're going to, no hit or really limit this Tri-Valley team to not many runs is unlikely. So know that they're going to have their pushes and just have a short memory because, again, they're going to have their moments. They're just too talented up and down the line not to right now.
Henninger awaits at the Keystone. Schmidt trying to bring him in. Time is called. Busby Lowe was taking his time, kind of planning what he wanted to do. Caution is always a good idea against this Tri-Valley team. Chopped up foul. Hudson Flora reached on an error, so Busby Lowe has still not given up an earned run here at R.D. Knopf Stadium. George Schmidt trying to change that in a hurry. Schmidt watching, correctly so. The Tri-Valley big inning has gotten earlier and earlier in their first couple of games. It was the third in game 1. It was the second in game 2. The foul territory and well out of play.
Keep whacking it like that. It could be the first inning. That was a hard, high-hit ball. Obviously goes way off track, but
that was in the air for probably 8-9 seconds. we've seen power from these guys for sure, but hasn't necessarily been the go-to. They have just put balls at every single part of this stadium. Way high over the head of Morris. A wild pitch puts Henninger at third.
Not much to say on that one. Lowe just lost control from the moment left fingertips, and now makes the job a lot easier on George Schmidt. You get one onto the grass, and you're definitely bringing one home.
First full count for Busby Lowe. The 8th pitch will require a 9th. Look out, heads up.
That was a rocket over there.
Some of the Williston police force down there on that right field line. They have the vigilance required for it. They got out of the way because that was coming. Lowe's 9th. Misses. A 9-pitch walk. That's peak productivity for George Schmidt.
Absolutely, and you want to get your guys a good look at the pitcher in the first inning. You're the 4th guy up. You get 9 pitches. You get a few good swings in to go foul. That's a really quality AB for Schmidt, and sets the table for another guy who's been hot in this tournament in Minetti.
Yeah, this is the guy. Batting over 700 through his first couple of games. 5 hits in his 7 at-bats. He has scored 4 times, bringing in 3. He's got 2 doubles. He has been an unstoppable force of nature, and he comes up in a good spot here. Tri-Valley runners at the corners. Throw down, not even happening. Even better spot now. Tri-Valley runners both in scoring position.
Yeah, better spot for Tri-Valley, but a smart call by Morris. Trying to limit the damage. You try and let your pitcher do the job here and get the second out.
George Schmidt easily gets his 2nd stolen base of the tournament. 2-0. If you walk Minetti with first base open, it doesn't get any easier. Cade Robertson waits in the wings. Three and oh. Busby Lowe clearly being careful to MM.
Yeah, really not one batter you look forward to going against in this Tri-Valley lineup, and Lowe having a little bit of trouble.
Minetti, a 4-pitch walk.
Well, now you run into a little bit of trouble, and this is a really good time to talk to Lowe. You're 27 pitches in, or 20 pitches in already, I should say. And it's just been trouble for Lowe. Bases are loaded, only that 1 out, so gotta figure something out right now.
Yeah, 5 straight misses, but the low-to-low connection on the hill now. Coach Lowe, Buddy Lowe, talking to Busby Lowe, trying to calm him down here, get things reset with Tri-Valley on the doorstep of another huge inning.
For Tri-Valley, just par for the course, and the last couple days it's taken them kind of an inning to get going, and once they see a pitcher, usually the first time around, everybody is able to attack and figure things out really easily. Today they get it going from the jump, and now that error on the leadoff, rather the second man up, Hudson Flores, seems big, and instead of having 2 gone right now, you only got the 1 and bases loaded, so much different scenario, and that error is costly.
Robertson, first pitch swinging, it's just foul down the right field line.
That would have been dangerous. That's bringing at least 2 around. And we've seen those deep, deep corners in both left and right cause trouble for the outfielders. If that gets rolling all the way near the wall, sometimes the bases, if they're loaded, they get very unloaded very quickly.
Robertson has already brought in 5 at R.D. Noffitt Stadium. A good swing here, and he would be alone atop the RBI leaderboard. Robertson sees it in the dirt. Henninger will stop.
Tempting, but I like the patience and I like the call from Minetti there. That would have been really, really close. That ball didn't quite carry through the near the end of the backstop or anywhere as close, and so would have been a close call. No need to risk it here.
Great hustle by Zach Morris. Potentially saves a run. Lowe's 1-0 is well high. Again inside. Trying for that jam shot against Cade Robertson, but now one of the top hitters in this tournament, the ultimate hitters count. Robertson, slow roller to low. He's looking home, got the force to first. It will just sit at home with Morris. That's great defense, 2 down and no run comes across.
As ideal as you could get. Really easy one for Lowe to scoop up, and this is not even a question. Sometimes you look to first, but here it was easy enough. They get the out there at home by a mile, and now you're 1 out away from really limiting the damage, something that not a lot of people have been able to do against Tri-Valley.
A huge dodge to start. Now the burden falls to Aiden Foley. The southpaw now with a handedness advantage and up 1-0. $16 balls in this inning for Busby Lowe, but if he gets one more out, it doesn't really matter. 1 out of the gate, the way these guys are swinging, that's a big win. Catches the zone, that helps.
Absolutely. You're not even thinking about the pitch count or balls versus strikes right now. Certainly there are adjustments you want to make going into the second, but 1-0, you are thrilled with that.
"56 pitches between each of these two in the first inning. Far and away the most we've had. Previous high in an inning was 25. Both have exceeded it in the very first one here. 3-1 becomes 4-1. Aiden Foley's patience is rewarded. The lead is doubled. 2-0 Tri-Valley.
Well, we talked about not being worried, throwing balls, and there's something to be said for that, especially when you're trying to limit the damage, but you never want to walk one in. That's always discouraging.
Jake Tsunemoto. Looking to blow it wide open in the initial inning. He lifts it to left. Nisco retreating further back. He's got it. Tri-Valley strands 3 but scores 2. Looking to stay undefeated and move to 3-0 in the World Series. Here in Williston, Anthony Louis goes back out. Begins inning number 2 after facing 5. But the last 3 were strikeout, strikeout, strikeout.
Yeah, you got to be pretty happy, though, right now if you're Puyallup. Going back to the bottom of that first inning, the way Tri-Valley had been moving, bases loaded with 1 out, you're just assuming they're going to get all the bases cleared and probably put a 4, 5, 6. That's just the way that they have been operating here. They just don't leave many runners stranded. You walk one in, which you don't like to see, but a really good recovery from Busby Lowe. We talk about that short memory, knowing you're going to have to fight through some adversity and some jams in consistent innings today. So far, so good for Busby Lowe. I know you give up 2 in that opening inning, but I think you're pretty happy right now, and now you got to start to find a way to get going on this end. Only the second inning in this one, but only the 1 run to show for themselves yesterday.
Drew Baker watching strike 1. Just the second time in the young ball game that Anthony Louis has begun with a first pitch strike. Earned decay the last time he did it. Count evens here. Gote 1 for 2 against Tallahassee. Looking for another hit. That would start a hitting streak for him. Good start to the plate appearance for Anthony Gote. Good hitters count. That's why it leads to a walk. Doesn't wind up putting one in play. It doesn't matter. Anthony Gote has the second base on balls here for Puyallup.
It's good patience, and this is the key for Puyallup. You need to, against Tri-Valley, I think, give yourself a chance every single inning, and they've done that so far. They got 2 on with no outs in the first inning. You get 1 on here with 1 out. Not every inning is going to result in scoring because of that, but you need to give yourself opportunities, not get early outs and get behind the 8 ball. And so far through the first inning and change, they've done that, Corey.
No stolen bases yet for Gote. That would be expanding on that opportunity for sure. Let's see if they test Hudson Flora. Not just yet. Flora's going to try the pop throw to first. Beat behind, but a good idea.
That was close. Foley was good over at first. Gote was really thinking about it and didn't quite commit and almost ended up in no man's land.
Peterson ahead in the count. Back-to-back 3-1 counts issued by Anthony Louie. Gote parlayed it into a walk. A balk. And now a great chance for Puyallup.
Well, these have been called consistently throughout the tournament. I believe, off the top of my head, I think that's the 5th total balk we've seen over the first 3 days. So it's been something that the umpires are committed to. All it takes is that slight movement, and now a chance at Puyallup.
Sudden scoring chance for Puyallup with runners at first and second after the Peterson walk. Back-to-back free bags. Drew Nisco with a sacrifice bunt has not officially recorded an at-bat here at Ardine Offutt Stadium. He can make a resounding entrance here.
You sure can. Runners on first and second now with no outs for the second straight inning. Well, excuse me, with 1 out. Still a great opportunity for the second straight frame. And again, you get these opportunities against Tri-Valley. You have to take advantage. You don't got to get it all at once. You don't got to get necessarily 2 or 3 in every inning, but you do have to score when you put them in scoring position.
Flora and Tsunemoto, a quick talk with Louie. His first pitch afterward is inside. Louie's been great when he's been able to work ahead, but that's been a challenge here in the second inning. Bounces right back.
Good patience. This has been uncharacteristic of the Tri-Valley pitchers. Louie has all these strikeouts, but consistently getting himself a little bit behind the count.
effectively wild so far. Trying to rein it in against Nisco. Three straight 3-1 counts.
And what an opportunity now for Puyallup. 3-1, and if Nisco finds a way to get on base, you're almost guaranteed to get back up to the top of the order as well.
Check it first. Nisco back in the batter's box. His 3-1 misses. A trio of walks loads the bases for Puyallup.
This is definitely the most we've seen Tri-Valley struggle on the mound. Just a little bit up and down right now for Louis. 4 strikeouts, but also 4 walks total, including the last 3 batters, and now a really difficult spot. And it's going to be the day for Louis.
How different it has gone. We haven't seen a pitching change until the game was over for Tri-Valley to this point. Louis is going to get some rest. New info on the new pitcher coming up. The Hill, so far 1 inning thrown. He struck out all 3 that he faced, walked 1, and picked up the win in a very short showing for Tri-Valley. Now he comes in a very, very different spot. Bases loaded, just 1 out. He'll face Cade Bellarive. Missing down low. Line as it sits for Louis, 1 1/3, striking out 4, walking 4. All 3 of the guys on are his responsibility. Slow roller, Souza. The short throw, the long one is in time. Brennan Baptist pulls one out. Souza, Tsunemoto, and Foley finish it off. Tri-Valley's defense, the headliner in this one. The offensive juggernaut saying, hold on, we can play in the field too. Each team has had a bases loaded opportunity and left it wanting. When it's all said and done, we might look at that double play as a huge turning point in the ball game. Puyallup still scoreless. Tri-Valley goes back to work looking to push the 2-run margin here against the still pitcher Busby Lowe.
Yeah, that was just an incredible play defensively from Tri-Valley. We have waxed poetic about their defense, about their offense, I should say, but stepping up in a massive spot and saving their pitcher Anthony Louis after a tough inning and a third with those walks.
Baptist pops it up to Grayson Peterson. Good start for Lowe. You know him and the rest of the offense want to get right back after it after leaving some meat on the bone. Cooney watching strike 1.
Usually only takes 1 time through for Tri-Valley to get it, and that second, third time around, guys have seen the pitcher work, and they can usually really start to do damage, and after Cooney, it's back to the top of the order.
A half swing, strike 2. Anthony Louis, by the way, threw 47 pitches, so he will take at least 1 day of rest following the conclusion of today's action. Could theoretically come back in. It's happened before. At which point his pitch count would resume at 47. A full one for Ryan Cooney. Payoff. Cooney sends it into center field for a base hit. Ryan Cooney turning the lineup over with flair. A one-out single.
Nice job working back in the count. He was upset with himself. Probably took a swing that gave him a strike that he shouldn't have. Able to work his way back into the counts, run it full, and then get himself a good piece of hitting and get on base with the top of the order due up.
Here's the young man who started the Houdini double play. Dylan Souza at second. Now goes back to work with the stick. Check it first. Good throw, but back in time is Cooney. Those multiple times over have been kind of tricky in this one. When the pitcher goes 2-3 times, it's gotten away, but so far so good for Busby Lowe.
And Cooney's sort of baiting him, and he's baiting Morris a little bit as well. He's taking a pretty healthy lead.
Cooney's already swiped one here in Williston. I'm thinking about another. There he goes. Throw down, no chance. A tremendous jump by Cooney. He was about 3/4 of the way down the line by the time that Lowe let go of the pitch.
Yeah, this was gone from the go. Burst right out of the gate. It's actually a pretty good throw, too. It's just way too late.
Sent foul, and he got his foot there, did Souza.
Yeah, that's never fun. Hopefully he's able to just flex this out and walk it off. That can always be really painful and sting.
He gets a second here. Revisit that stolen base from Cooney. He went going on basically first movement from Lowe, and because we've seen so many balks, you can do that because you know once a guy starts, he's really not allowed anymore, even by a fraction, to turn around and do that. As it goes into center, Cooney's going to stay where he's at. Good backup by Lane Mollum.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's just adjusting to the way the games have been called, the balks, and they've been the right calls. They're not letting anything fly there. Sometimes this level, you get a little bit of leeway, but you know what? It's the Babe Ruth World Series. That hasn't happened in that regard.
And time called. Extended plate time for Dylan Souza.
Well, Lowe got out of a jam back in the first, only gave up 2. No reason to believe he can't do it again here.
3 left on in that very first inning for Tri-Valley. Just foul. Left side of that third base bag. A win for Puyallup puts him at 1-1 and creates some real intrigue in this division, handing Tri-Valley their first loss. A dub for TV moves them to 3-0, clinches them a spot in the post-pool play action, and gives them sole possession of first place in the National Division. 2-2. 3-2.
Pitch had a lot of movement, broke a little too far outside. It's a good sit from Souza, and now a big payoff.
Lowe's got his sign. He likes it. Looks at Cooney. The pitch. Inside and in the dirt. 6-pitch walk for Dylan Souza.
These Tri-Valley hitters are just being patient. That's the 4th walk they've drawn already in this game. I mean, we talked about how flashy the offense is at times. Only got 2 hits early on here. They've been getting a ton of guys on, though, whether it be through error or fielder's choice, and the 4 walks to go with it.
4 walks for both teams right now. Nice check at second. So 8 total. The base on ball is going to be a big part of this one. You said it from the word go. Get up there and throw strikes. One of the core and critical game plans to winning in this tournament. These hitters are not making it easy. First pitch to Flora. Sent into left, and it drops. Cooney will be sent home. The throw, good air under it, but it's behind. Tri-Valley has another and leads by 3 as Cooney scores.
Hudson Flora got on the first time only because of an error. Wanted to earn his base appearance this time around. The wind drops this way short, which makes it also a tough throw out of left field for Nisco and allows Cooney to score.
Flora has flourished in other ways besides base hits. He's gotten hit twice, he's walked. That time, though, like you said, doing it straight up with the bat. Henninger going to right. It's right at Baker, and he's got it. Souza wants third and has it. A little wonky on the slide, but all good.
Henninger, this is a good piece of hitting. Catches near the bottom of the bat, high up in the zone, and you do enough of a job to move the base runners along. Henninger, we sort of just used to him coming up and saying RBI afterwards, but still does a nice job. And again, this is not a bad spot to be. Eventually you'll have to score on the other side of things, but 2 outs, you're pretty happy if it stays 3-0.
Throw just chomped on by Zach Morris. Free swipe for Hudson Flora. His first stolen base of this World Series. George Schmidt takes the 1-0 a mile. That thing's got a whole lot of carry and it hits the fence. Souza and Flora both score easily. A 315-foot double. Tri-Valley is at it again.
Corey, for just a moment, I thought we were about to have our first home run of the World Series because that was a bomb. Bang it against the wall, way out and right. 315. This guy had to have gone 310, 312. It was that close. Steps right into it. First pitch he sees and just hits it a mile.
That hopped off the warning track. That's a strong carry. 5-0 TV. And Mateo Minetti will watch ball 1. Timely hitting with 2 outs. George Schmidt comes up clutch. Minetti right through it.
Good bounce back. That's a really good bounce back pitch. Breaking ball. That had some great movement on it, and that's that quick dive at the plate.
First full count. Since Dylan Souza had one, just a few hitters to go. Third full count of the inning. Easy take. Mateo goes to first. Baton is passed to Cade Robertson.
And Corey, since the first pop out by Anthony Louie to lead things off, there has not been a non-quality productive at-bat. Singles, a walk, even the second out was a fly out, which at the time was able to move Floor to third, where he eventually came home to score. So everybody who's come up short of that first at-bat has found a way to get on base or do a job, and that's what has made this Tri-Valley team such a treat to watch here these first few days.
Cade Robertson off a check swing, hit into that fielder's choice. 1-2, low to Morris. This time, a much better charge into it, but it's at Mollum. He's in the exact right spot. The inning comes to an end, but it's 3 more for Tri-Valley. The early favorites in this tournament looking the part. 5-0 lead. Great pitching from Brennan Baptist. Threw 2 pitches and got 2 outs. Turned into that double play.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big inning on both sides, no doubt, and Tri-Valley continues to do everything well on both sides. And now for Puyallup, the last couple innings, you've had your opportunities. You mentioned that double play, which was so big. Now you do have to find a way, whereas before the pressure wasn't on quite as much. You've had your opportunities. You've had guys in scoring positions, and you've gotten some gifts. 3 walks in a row in the last inning.
Brennan Baptist has been incredible. Yeah, that's what he's done. You know, he showed up day 1. Game was over. Didn't let it bother him. He just kept mowing him down. He picks up another strikeout, his first today, 4th in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, just quick, bang, bang, bang. There's nothing fancy about that, and love a guy who operates quickly. Knows what he wants to do with it.
Into strike 1. Check that ball 1. And actually, since Louis only went 1 1/3, Brennan Baptist would be in line to be the first pitcher at this tournament to go 2-0. He is currently the pitcher of record in this ballgame. His counterpart, Busby low. Nice charge into center, trying to split the difference. Can't. That thing hung up too long, and George Schmidt is too quick.
Yeah, sometimes the wind here in Williston has caused those loopers that have carried to drop straight down and just kind of die. The wind has really died down over the last half hour or so, and so this carries right into the glove of Schmidt.
Here's Zach Morris. Big looping breaking ball from Baptist. Started that one a little bit high, but there is just a ton of fall off on that pitch.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. This is a big curve, big movement, and he's got the fastball.
Yeah, that 1-2 sequence is difficult at any level of the sport, particularly here at the 14U World Series. Difficult to execute, harder to hit. Just a piece into the bleachers. And again, sent straight back into the stands. Tell you what, Tri-Valley's dominance might be hurting attendance a little bit. You're a neutral fan. You look at that Tri-Valley team and say, they're definitely going to win. They're a juggernaut.
Can't blame them. I mean, tell you what, if I'm worried for all the games anyway, but if I'm neutral and I get the chance to stay at the hotel or come watch these guys play, kind of want to see what everyone's been talking about.
That's true. Certainly a draw there.
15 and 16 over the last couple of days.
How do they keep doing it? They just keep smacking the ball. And pitching exceptionally well. 1, 2, 3. Brennan Baptist has recorded 5 straight. That's the margin for his team. And if they're coming from the Tri-Valley area, they have been treated to a show. From the get-go, these guys have been untouchable. I think everybody in this tournament field is going to be excited for the Tri-Valley off day. All right, no one has to play him today.
Yeah,
right now no one wants to.
Without a doubt, and this is the most human they've looked up to this point, just because usually when they've had these big early innings, 16 on day one, and they spread it out, but they still put up 15 yesterday. 2 and 3 in the first couple innings, that's still a really good spot to be in, and it's, arguably their worst performance so far.
That squirts by the speed. Simply too much. A great jump by Aiden Foley. Just that moment makes a difference.
This is a great effort on the back end by Gote. They get him with an error here. This is tough. You run it out, and you're just a step slow. And you can see even Lowe, the pitcher, tapping his own chest, saying, hey, I should have been there a little bit quicker. Either way, that's a really difficult play, but good on Lowe for taking some responsibility.
Foley using the wheels again. He slides in. That throws in time. Tag delivered. A caught stealing by Zach Morris.
Well, that's the way to get it back. Popped up right away. It's a good jump, a better throw.
Strike one to Jake Tsunemoto, who all of a sudden hits with the bases empty and 1 out. See there on the bottom right of your screen, a little over 60 pitches here for Busby Lowe. 2/3 of the way to the maximum allotted amount of 95 in a ball game. Hit well to left. A diving effort and an unreal catch by Drew Nisko.
Great job by Nisko, and talk about bouncing back. You start the inning with an error, you come back with a couple phenomenal plays in the field, and Puyallup doing what they can to hang around.
That'll help Busby Lowe stick around for a little bit longer. Defense picking up in a big way. Brennan Baptist will get his second at-bat. Baptist lifting to left, challenging Nisko again. Nisko answers. Clean work by 3-2 out in left. 1-2-3 for the first time in a long time for Tri-Valley. Puyallup trying to get back in it. To Williston, North Dakota. A lot of people have to come together. Families got to come a long way. There's obviously the financial side of it. Babe Ruth kicks in where they can. The city of Williston helps a great deal. But a big old shout out to everyone making it possible all across the country.
Yeah, over 1,000 volunteers helping, and I think that's just in the Williston surrounding area. So you're not even talking about all the different coaches and parents and friends and community leaders from these 10 teams from all over the country. So it's really great. All the kids are here and getting that professional experience in a really great environment, and Williston hosting this World Series for the 5th time, and it shows because it's been a really good production.
They are certainly professionals at it. Larry Grandal and the city of Williston know how to put on a show. Opening night, it was a fireworks bonanza.
You stuck around for the drone show last night.
And we had the drone show last night. That was something you don't often see. Perfectly placed by Kenyon Millett. He splits the difference and has his first hit of the World Series.
Oh, once again, getting off to strong starts. Puyallup has been able to do that in a couple of innings and a good bounce back from the 1-2-3 that they had in the third. So what does a drone show consist of?
It was 200 drones. You could see the lights on them from about a mile away. They did a whole bunch of different shapes. It was fun to watch. Tri-Valley's been fun to watch as they pick up and out here. Baptist to Foley, but it does advance Millett.
Fine with that. Chip away one at a time, and you know what? You just got Tri-Valley's, unconventional albeit, but a 1-2-3 inning on the other end. So you're happy to just move the base runners along and just try and chip away. 5-0. It's not a good place to be, but it's manageable with as much time as there is left.
Baker attacks right out of the gate, and as the bat and baseball come together, that was the coolest part of the drone show last night. There was a giant bat in the sky. The baseball comes towards it, and they become one. The core essence of this sport on display from the drones here in Williston. That's the one thing you'll get here in Boomtown, North Dakota. You will not get at a lot of other World Series sites. A lot of folks do a great job. Everyone has to go through the logistics, but there's hosting the World Series. There's hosting the World Series. The latter is Williston.
They're the host.
Right.
They're the long O, if you will.
Putting on a show while your guests have their week-long or so stay.
But a great experience for a lot of these kids, especially if you're not from North Dakota. You might not have, not visit North Dakota all that often. So a good experience for these kids to see a different part of the country and meet some different people.
Big hack. Brendan Baptist continues to impress.
Yeah, he's come in, saved Louis, who was on the hook for 3 runs. Got help with that grounder into a double play. Since then, 3 strikeouts and just been on a roll.
First baseman, Dakota.
Gote. Right through it. That's one of the neat things about these World Series, whether it's here in Williston or Ocala, Florida, Jamestown, New York, a lot of places that unless you're directly from that state, you probably haven't gotten the chance to experience. And almost always, there's a few hidden gems to be had.
Absolutely. And like I said, North Dakota, sometimes it's a little out of the way for people to get to, but once they're here, they usually have a good time.
Gote's 0-2. Brennan Baptist is untouchable. He concedes the single and then wraps things up in short order. He's got 4 strikeouts and 2 2/3. His guy's up big. Must be low, gonna try and keep this thing tight. 5-0, still within striking distance, particularly by the standard that Tri-Valley has set here.
Third baseman, Ruth.
Up top. And that clips him. So Cooney starts it with a base hit. Excuse me, a hit by pitch. Functionally the exact same thing.
Second baseman,
Check over at first, nothing doing. And it gets away. Three and oh. The pinch hitter, Eli Davidson, in a great spot. Five-pitch walk. So Davidson comes off the bench and immediately makes an impact as a base runner. Two free passes right out of the gate. Cooney and Davidson. They come across differently, but it's all the same. Here comes Buddy Lowe. That's 71 pitches. The threshold is 75. We saw throughout yesterday the Mavs were extremely pitch count conscious, and this seems like it'll be the end of the day for Busby Lowe. Pitching change here for Puyallup coming up. Rattery will make his pitching debut here for Puyallup. Do so against Hudson Flora.
Credit to Busby Lowe for Puyallup. He came in and limited Tri-Valley by Tri-Valley standards. He's on the hook for a couple more here, but Tri-Valley had just been exploding offensively the last couple days. He had kept Puyallup in this game the last couple of innings. A little bit of a tricky spot here with 2 on and nobody out for a new pitcher in Rattery to come into, but I think credit to Lowe because honestly that's probably the best pitching performance we've seen from Tri-Valley, for a team against Tri-Valley up to this point.
Right. He goes 3+ innings pitched. Gave up 4 hits, 4 earned. The 6 walks is a challenge, but that's what TV's going to do. They're going to wait for their pitch, and then when they get it, put it in a spot where your defense is not. Wild pitch over the head of Hudson Flora. So an even tougher start for Quincy Rattery with 2 in scoring position.
Catcher, Hudson Flora.
Flora taking his time getting to the ultimate hitter's count. Chopped up. Foul. Almost a chance for Grayson Peterson to make a big play. Just over the line.
Yeah, real shot there or two. Would have been close, but go over to first and just try and get that first out, or probably a pretty easy throw home to catch Cooney there, but instead we'll try it again.
Flora already an RBI single to his credit. 3-2. That one more comfortably foul off the bat of Hudson Flora. Do one more time. Misses down low. Bases full for Tri-Valley.
Just another efficient day for Flora. He's been on all 3 times. He's scored twice. Gets on first with that error, the single, and now the walk.
Grant Henninger, who's been a force, has a chance to force this one wide open. Bases loaded, nobody out. Rattery still trying to settle in. First pitch, hit well, and it's down in right field. Cooney will score easily. Davidson's coming home, and he'll touch home plate as well. 2 RBI single for Grant Henninger. That's 7 and 8 here at the World Series.
Henninger just continues to be productive. He gets up to the plate, and it's like an audible rut-row from the other dugout because he has just been that good. Sees something he likes early in the at-bat. Good hop and effort from Bellerive. That he almost had a chance at that. Instead, it's 2 home and 7-0 edge.
Flora still in scoring position, and he'll be even further that way as George Schmidt is hitting the back. No, he got out of the way of that. So just a wild pitch in second and third. So the pitch behind Schmidt. He's in a good spot. Schmidt down the line, fair. Another 2 RBI swing for Tri-Valley. A 9-0 ball game.
Tough spot for Rattery to come into. You are facing maybe the deadliest part of the order in a lineup that is always pretty dangerous. Back-to-back 2 RBI hits.
So that's 4 runs batted in for George Schmidt. What a phenomenal day. And Tri-Valley looks to go to 3-0 with 3 huge wins. Teo Minetti's been the extra player in all 3 of those games. He steers that one down the line. Again, just foul. Check swing. Appeal down to first. Did he go? No. The hit and run works perfectly. Throw to first. Still in time. So productive for Minetti. But he's out. Another runner in scoring position for Tri-Valley.
Wow, and this was risky here. I mean, you have to go, obviously, but nearly hit into a double play. It's the speed of Schmidt over on second to get there. And Minetti, again, maybe not quite as flashy and gaudy as he had been the last couple days, but productive. Gets on base with a couple of walks, and this time he's able to move a runner along.
Cade Robertson watching strike 1. Lifted into left. Fouling out of play. Just missing. Battery searching for that first strikeout. And Quincy will just step off. Puyallup back in action tomorrow. They will take on West Fargo in the same slot, game 2. The 2-2 snagged. Rattery looks and flips. That gets away. Schmidt will score. That is how the 10th comes across. We are now down to a 5-inning game. The next top half will be incredibly important for Puyallup as the lead is double digits.
Yeah, sometimes it's those little routine plays that can get to you. Rattery actually does the hard part, and then the toss, it's a little bit off, and Gote can't make the adjustment, allows a run to come home and make this a 10-run ball game.
Yeah, that one hit the dirt. Would have required a good play by Gote. Rattery left it short. So now the objective for Tri-Valley is pretty simple. Get some insurance and make sure you don't need any extra innings on those arms here. They're trying to make it 3 straight mercy rules to open the World Series. That's a nice pick out of the dirt by Zach Morris. Aiden Foley 0 for 1 today, but he's been on base both times. Reached on an error and a walk. 3 errors on the day for Puyallup. It's not that bad a number. You know, again, 1 or 2 is more or less a given, and even Tri-Valley's got 1, but the errors have been a bit untimely, and your margin for error against this team out of California is just so little.
Yeah, I know I'm going glass half full. Those first couple innings, I actually thought Puyallup played really well. I mean, Busby Lowe did what he could to limit damage and get out of tight jams. To only give up 2 in that first inning when the bases were loaded there was a really big victory for them. Got some runners in scoring position, and going back to that double play that ended things in the second inning instead of bringing one around, that was a big killer at the time, and just weren't able to get anything going after that.
The walk, Aiden Foley gets his 2nd of the day, and Tri-Valley continues to find success.
Dakota hit Tsunamato.
Puyallup will be back in action tomorrow, as we mentioned, against West Fargo. The off day comes at a great time for Tri-Valley. Help them reset their pitching rotation. And with Tallahassee off today, it'll be at least 24 hours of sole possession of first place in the National Division, as the wind gets the strongest it's been here in this World Series. Ordinarily, I'd make a winds of change pun here, but for Tri-Valley, it has been the polar opposite. Steady as she goes since the word go.
Yeah, for the 3rd straight day, really no notes. I mean, they've just been fantastic, and they've got that killer instinct in them. You come into this inning, it's only 5-0. I mean, still a ways to go. And now they've got a chance to put this away and potentially make it a shorter game.
And Puyallup will be in a huge game now tomorrow. That's going to be the battle to get back into the division. A pair of teams that got off to a rough start, but pool play is such that even if it doesn't necessarily work out for you, you're still going to have a chance. Two and two. Tsunomoto. Full count. Five runs on 2 hits here in the 4th inning. Lifted into center field. The lunge ball escapes the grasp of Malum. Bases full for Tri-Valley.
Just about the longest single you might see in this tournament. One of them for sure. And really good effort out in center by Malum. Thought he was going to make this play. Second look on our All True Health Systems replay. Malum right there. Difficult play. Nearly had it. Tremendous effort.
When we said Anthony Louis might come back into the game, he's going to do so, but not as a pitcher. He's going to come hit.
Looks like Rattery will stay out there for the meantime. And yeah, Louis, got up to a little bit of a shaky start in this one, but tell you what, the numbers are still good. It's really only the 4 walks that cost him. And again, it's the strength and depth of a pitching staff that can really help you out. And they showed that today with Tri-Valley. Brennan Baptist comes in, has the grounder that grounds into a double play. And then from there on, Baptist was fantastic.
We'll see if Louis pitches here on the backside. He might. Baptist done, so somebody is going to have to pitch the top of the 5th. At which point, should they keep it right now to 0 runs and there's room for expanding on that margin, that would be the end of this ball game. In tight, Louis gets out of the way. Also, barring an untimely ground ball from a Tri-Valley standpoint, the California team will have batted around. They have done that in every game. Over the head of Rattery, charging Razak. He throws over, and it is in time. So Louis limited, but he does pick up an RBI, and it's 11-0 game.
Yep, a little bit more cushion here on that 10-run rule, so certainly good for Tri-Valley, but nice job there in the field by Puyallup.
That's Busby Lowe, begging your pardon, taking over at the shortstop position.
Third baseman Ryan Cooney.
And Ryan Cooney hits for a second time. He was plunked to begin this inning. Eventually came around to score. That gets away. Foley's coming home. The lead now 12. So even more room to keep this a 5-inning game. Tri-Valley doing the job.
Yep, just taking advantage of the wild pitch. Team hasn't needed a lot of help, but always advantageous when you can take advantage of those mistakes.
Trying to go 5-6 hole. The dive, the throw gets away. A good effort at first base to try and bring it back by Kenyon Millett. But the Tri-Valley onslaught continues.
This was a great effort here. Millett just a shade off on that low throw. It's so tough to make that scoop. And it was a great effort over on third.
Base knock for Ryan Cooney. And Eli Davidson gets his second at bat. Rattery can't bring it into his glove. That took a weird path, and nothing there on the backside either. Just tough defensive plays right now. And when the game script's running away from you, there's not a lot you can do.
No, and this is tough. It's a comebacker. It hits Rattery in the glove, but that's a tough one. I think those comebackers are always so hard to adjust to. A lot of time, you're just trying to make sure you don't get hurt on those.
Right.
Those are always such bang-bang plays.
Malik got a great job getting a jump on it. Just way too much ground to cover. So first and second for Tri-Valley. And a 13-run lead.
Now batting, number 4, R.J. Manicki.
R.J. Manicki going to get a chance to hit. Swings through it. And fittingly for Tri-Valley, it is a hit. Cooney coming around. Cooney scores easily. Throw to third. We'll see Davidson slide in. Tri-Valley taking care of business again.
Love to see this guys coming in fresh who haven't been hitting today. Come in, get their opportunity, and contribute to the win. There's one in hand, but still contributes to just that morale after the fact that everyone can say, hey, had a hand in this and was able to contribute, and that's certainly the case.
Actually, Davidson at third represents the game-winning run. Because Tri-Valley is the home team, if they lead by 15, this game ends. Henninger watches ball one. Henninger sends it to left, and that's a walk-off for Grant Henninger. 15-0. The champions out of the Pacific Southwest have invoked the 15-run rule twice in this ball game. Technically our first walk-off from Williston, and fittingly it is Grant Henninger doing the job again. Henninger brilliant in this game, but it all started with George Schmidt, number 16. Our player of the game, his 2 RBI double to go along with a 2 RBI single. Schmidt, the one who completely flipped this game on its head, and Tri-Valley only went up from there.
Yeah, in the early stages of this game, there was a little tug of war. Puyallup was doing what they could to hang around with some good pitching, but he smacked that one. Thought it might even leave the park for a moment, and it just changed the complexion of this game. Added another couple RBIs later. A lot of love and hits and RBIs to go around, but Schmidt got the party started.
Have to praise the pitching as well. That's a team shutout, giving up 1 hit in the game. Almost our first combined no-hitter as well here at the World Series. Puyallup back at it tomorrow. Tri-Valley 3-0. Way in front of the field now here in Williston. Lunch break time on the other side. It is Game 3, Marty Knopfett Stadium. See you in a bit.